Hey, Cindy, how are you?
Hey, Doris, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Look at you. First of all, we're doing a very special episode today, but I have to point out this was not planned.
This was not planned, purple and purple.
We just happened to both have on our purple blouses today.
That's right. It's a purple day.
But, I think our listeners will be okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Let's
purple's a good
talk,
color.
let's talk about our episode. So today we have Toni Gallagher.
Yes.
Now, for everyone who out there who are not real familiar, I'm going to give a little background.
Yeah.
I'm going to read her bio because it's pretty good. It says Toni is no stranger to storytelling. She earned her journalism degree from Northwestern University, which is probably why we both wear purple.
Right. That could be too.
Has a successful career in reality TV. She began as a story editor on early sessions of MTV's The Real World.
Yes, I know that one.
She was the producer on the beloved Disney Channel show Bug Juice, which was about real kids at summer camp.
Yep.
She was, or currently is, that's what we're going to find out today, the executive producer on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she lives in L.A.
L.A.
All right. We can now welcome our special guest,
Toni Gallagher.
Hey. Hello, girls.
Hello. I guess we got to start up
purple.
Yeah, right on purple.
That's Northwestern's color.
Shout out.
Let's talk about that for a few seconds.
Yeah.
You went to school in Northwestern. What brought you to the Midwest all the way over here to Chicago?
You know what? I started out in the suburbs of Philadelphia as a kid.
Okay.
So that's where I discovered Shaun, which I know we'll be talking about. And then I went to high school in Ohio and then college outside Chicago to study journalism because I've always been a writer.
Okay.
Ever since you were young, right? Like young.
Oh, yeah. I think I started in second grade probably writing books and stories and plays and all that kind of stuff.
So you had a knack for it right away.
Yeah. Because I've written those two children's books, and I was just speaking in an elementary school, and I show them books that I wrote when I was young and all of that. I'm sure I have some early Shaun fan fiction, but I need to find it.
Yeah. I know Doris wrote a letter about Shaun.
I'm nowhere near as good as you. I would not, but I used to want to be a writer, and I used to write short stories and poems and all kinds of stuff. So one of the very first things I wrote that I called my first poem was about Shaun, Cassidy.
In high school, right?
I was like 15 years old.
Wow. I didn't even think about that in high school.
Yeah, that was my very first one. But then I like to say my inkwell dried up. I couldn't do it anymore. So I just dabble here and there now.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
Yeah. You stayed in Chicago only for school and then you left and went west?
The day after graduating from Northwestern University, my friend and I got in a car and drove to Hollywood.
Wow. So you knew already the target.
I think when I was a kid, my dream was go to journalism school and write for Tiger Beat or Teen Beat or Bop or whatever. By the time I graduated college, that was not my goal anymore. But I kind of knew I wasn't going to be a journalist. I was going to move to Hollywood and try to write for TV or movies.
Oh, and not Tiger Beat. Okay. Because that would have been fun.
She would have
been a friend of mine was a reporter for Bop magazine, so I've heard.
I remember Bop.
Bop, yeah.
Okay, I remember Bop because we were talking about Ann Moses. Was it Ann Moses?
Ann Moses. She would have been the next Ann Moses. She wrote for Tiger Beat, and it was a little bit before she did the David Cassidy, Donny Osmond, Bobby Sherman type people.
Before Shaun, she was gone before Shaun showed up.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know all those guys, but we were all just a little bit too young for them, right?
Yeah, we were.
That's what Cindy and I say all the time. Is we came a little bit too young for David, but right on time for Shaun. And then we caught back up to David because David, of course, continued his career in the 80s when I like to call it when he got back on the bus and MTV brought out the Partridge Family bus and
Right.
put Danny and David on it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I jumped on. I'm like, okay, well, let's go follow David a little bit.
Yeah, that was fun too because we were adults by then and we could go to concerts and not have to ask our mom.
Right.
Right.
You know, we could do our own thing and go see him. So we were mostly on the Partridge Family bus.
Yes.
But then Shaun showed up and I didn't even know he had a brother. So news to me.
So tell us your story. How did Shaun jump into your heart?
Well, I was just thinking about how 1977 was maybe the greatest year of all time because of the Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. I was already a reader and a writer, so I had already read tons of Nancy Drew books. You know, I didn't really like the Hardy Boys books as much because I guess maybe I was just a typical girl and I wanted to read about girls and not boys, but I had a few Hardy Boys books. But when that show premiered, I was all over it. So between Hardy Boys and Star Wars, 1977 might be my favorite year of all time.
Yeah.
We are definitely connected because that is the pen to a lot of my stuff, 1977. But I won't say what stuff, so in case you listeners are trying to figure out what I used that for, but it is the best year ever in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big turnaround year for me. But,
So,
and I think I liked, you know, I mean, I had boys who were friends, but I don't think I was attracted to any of them. But when Shaun hit the airwaves,
oh my goodness. Yes.
Again, it was just
Yes.
perfect timing. I was the perfect age for him to come into my life.
Yeah, we were in high school at the time. So we didn't get the dolls and the stuff like that, but we're more in the magazines and we had T-shirts.
I was magazines and posters for sure. I'd go down to the 7-Eleven. I think it was every Tuesday when the new magazines came out. And of course, all my walls were decorated.
We had to be there, right? The day it was released. We had to be there. We knew that day the magazine was coming out.
We couldn't get it 2 days later. No. It had to be that day.
It was like, open the doors. I'm here.
I had my 75 cents and I was ready to buy my magazine.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then when he started singing on the show, he was already cute as Joe Hardy, but then he started singing, then I'm like, okay, all bets are off. This is my guy.
All bets are off. He was great.
Yes.
Loved it.
I mean, January 1977 is when the Hardy Boys premiered. And Sunday nights, my house, I didn't leave it. No way in the world I was going anywhere.
And tell her what we both did that we didn't know.
Oh, with the recording on our little cassette, and I still have some.
Yes.
Little cassette, hold it up to the TV, record
we
the
both
episode.
Recorded it. Every episode, and I lived by an airport, and I was so mad that the airplanes were going overhead. And I told my mom to stop it, and she's going, "What do you want me to do? Call the airport and tell them to stop flying?" I says, "Yeah, for an hour, please."
Yes.
And I had Evo brothers who would purposely burst into my room because my mother separated us and gave us TVs in our own room because we couldn't decide what to watch. So my sister and I shared a room. We were recording Hardy Boys, and they come in, or make some weird noise.
How dare they ruin the recording?
How dare them?
Just to mess it up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I did the same. I did the same.
They did. Somebody had to be there to mess it up.
Yeah. So you had your recordings, you had your Tiger Beats, you were just all over it like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if I've mentioned it to you guys before, but my aunt already lived in California and she ran into Shaun Cassidy at a Houlihan's restaurant. And the reason I know it's a Houlihan's restaurant is because it's on the back of this autograph that she got for me.
Wow.
So that is a legit Shaun late 70s autograph.
That's his autograph.
That I recently framed and put on my desk.
How nice.
How cool.
And who was he with? Who was he with at the restaurant?
You know what? I actually just saw my aunt a week or two ago. I told her I was doing this. She didn't even remember getting the autograph. So I have no idea who he was with.
Okay.
Houlihan's like any other person would be. You know,
yeah, exactly. That's like what, an Applebee's or a Fridays or something.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all.
But it would have been in LA somewhere. Maybe the Valley.
Lucky. Just a lucky connection there.
So
Yep.
you decided you were gonna be a writer, but you didn't say you were gonna go out. Did you dream of going out, like, interviewing Shaun and doing something at any point in this whole life of writing?
Yeah. I think from about ages 12 to 15,
Mm,
the thought was move to Hollywood to interview Shaun and other cute boy celebrities, right?
Okay.
yes, yeah.
But by the time high school and college were over, I was a little more realistic. I didn't need to
Mm-mm.
write for Tiger Beat anymore at that point.
Oh,
I had
okay.
studied serious journalism in college, but I knew serious journalism wasn't for me. So I
Yeah.
moved to
Oh.
LA to pursue a career in TV or movies.
Yeah, so what was the first project you got
Yeah,
when you
I
moved there?
fell into the first job I got was called a production assistant, which was doing anything they tell you to do on the Tracy Ullman show.
I
Oh,
remember
Do you
that
yeah.
remember that
show.
show? It was on
Yes.
Fox.
Yes,
Fox was a very new network at the time. The
yes.
producer
Yes.
was James L. Brooks, who is still a huge name in Hollywood. The
Uh-huh.
Simpsons ended up beginning on the Tracy Ullman show. And and I
Oh.
got to get Tracy Ullman her lunch, and she called me Perky. And it was a
She
pretty
was one of
cool
the
first job.
voices. Tracy Ullman was one of the voices.
Sh
Was she
She probably did
Marge?
appear on The Simpsons, but
I think
other
she was
characters.
Marge.
she
Wasn't
No,
she?
wasn't
no, that was
Marge.
That
Julie
was
Kavner.
Oh, yes.
Julie Kavner was Rhoda's sister on the show Rhoda. But
Oh,
Julie
Oh,
Kavner did
yes.
appear on the Tracy Ullman show, as did Dan Castellaneta, who is still Homer.
yes.
Oh,
I
interesting.
remember Tracy Ullman from that song she had. It was a cute little song, and now it's in my head, but I can't remember.
Oh,
She
yeah,
did have a
only
cute song in the 80s. Yep.
one
Yeah,
song she did, yeah.
yeah, and I tell you, that is so cool. So you started there, and like you said, you were like their gopher. You did whatever they
Yes.
said to do.
Yep.
That's a lot of what everybody's first job in
Yeah,
Hollywood
I bet.
is. And then somebody told me that Steven Spielberg's company needed an assistant. Uh,
Oh,
so that was my next job, was working for Steven Spielberg's company.
with what movie, or was it a
You know what?
For
He
what was
his
was
he
out of
doing?
company.
town pretty much the whole year I was there doing
Oh.
Indiana Jones 3.
Oh.
But I did get to meet him once, and I told him not to make the movie Prince of Tides.
Yes.
That's my big claim to fame.
Don't do it.
Right.
And
Barbara Streisand did. And I remember my boss saying, well, if that wins an Oscar, you're going to be in trouble. And later, what did win an Oscar was Silence of the Lambs, which she told him not to make. So if
Oh.
anybody was going to get in
oh,
trouble, it was that boss of mine. But I
yes.
was thrilled because, like I said, I was a Star Wars fan too. So George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were childhood heroes of mine too. And I once saw them
Yes.
walking down the hall together. And my knees went weak. I was so excited to
Wow.
see them together.
I would have just fainted.
Yeah.
And I don't normally get fangirlish and all that, but
They were big
Lucas
back
and
then.
Spielberg come strolling up the hall. I would have just fainted.
Would he have made
Oh,
did he
yeah.
make Close Encounters by then? I
Yeah.
wonder?
Close
He did.
Encounters, E.T.
E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already huge, and that was the late 80s.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's fun.
That is fun.
Those were some
So
early fun jobs.
that
Yeah.
well, let's kind of just then segue a little bit into the books.
Hmm.
Cause I got stuff I want to talk about.
Well, let me
You
tell
Yeah.
you for a second,
Got
before
our
we
books.
jump into my books, Twist My Charm, thank you for holding them up.
yes.
I did spend many, many years after I left James L. Brooks and Tracy Ullman show and then Steven Spielberg. That was when reality TV began,
Oh yeah, let's
Yeah.
which I thought was actually going to be just sort of like a couple of years doing a fun job that was weird and new and different. And it became a 30-year career. But
okay, yeah.
And which one
while
was
I
the
was
first
pretty,
one?
How did I jump
Survivor was the
over?
first reality show, right?
oh, no,
No.
no, no,
No?
No,
Cindy. No, no, no.
realities TV started. I remember as a kid, there was a show called Real People or Amazing Animal Stories. All
Those
these
kinds of
little,
shows.
those were reality TV
Oh, really?
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they had little like there were hosts and then there were little stories and they'd meet real
yeah,
people and that kind of thing. In my
Yeah.
mind, I think the first reality show, as far as I'm concerned, that put people in a situation and followed them dramatically would have been The Real World on MTV. And that was, I think they started in
Oh,
like 91, 92, which was a full
yes.
like 10 years before Survivor. So people always think Survivor was first in telling a
Yeah.
story of people in a situation. But
Okay.
I think The Real World was first. And
I'm
that
glad you
was
set that straight. Yes,
early
because I thought it
90s.
was.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
how did you so you're working, on at these production companies led you to being on, the reality TV shows?
Yeah, I was a fan just as I was working my other, entry-level jobs in Hollywood. I was a fan of that very first season of The Real World that took place in New York City. And, all my life I'd been a fan of soap operas. I'd been a fan later in life, of documentaries. And I thought, this is an awesome combination of soap opera and documentary.
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter to the company that made The Real World and said, here's my background. And I think it was many months later, maybe 6 months later, I got a phone call and I was like, wait, are they calling me in to be on the show as like a character on the show or to be
Oh,
behind the scenes? So I
yeah.
dressed cute enough in case they were interested for me to be on the show, but they were interested in me to be behind the scenes. And like I said, it was a total shock that I ended up doing that for the next 30 years.
Wow.
Wow. That is
Wow.
a big
That's
career.
a long yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I did something when I stayed at a company 22 years, but you did reality. So are you doing it now or have you left?
No, no, I bounced from show to show, so it wasn't like having one job for 30 years. I did
But it was
all
your
sorts of different TV
career.
shows. Some
Yeah.
would last a few months and some would last a few years. But I did work fairly consistently for 30 years. It was 1993 to 2023, and I felt like that was a good time to hang up the reality TV hat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
Definitely.
bet
during Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that I wrote the 2 books. That's why I stopped it.
okay. But I bet working on those shows, see, we only see the final hour or whatever. But I was just mentioning to Cindy, I would have loved to be there to see the 8 or 10 hours that we don't see, the parts that
Oh,
they would.
Doris, I wish it was 8 or 10 hours. It was hundreds of hours.
Oh,
And
wow.
we
Oh.
had a team of people who had to watch every tape that got filmed, type into the computer like what was happening practically minute by minute. So we could then search it later. Like, I need a shot of Pedro looking at the fish tank. And we could search for it and find what VHS tape back then that
Yeah.
was on. And that's how we had to make the show back in those days. It's a lot more streamlined and easy and technically savvy
Technically,
now.
yeah.
But yeah, people watched every minute of every day that got filmed. And in the real world,
Wow.
they were filming practically around the clock.
Really?
Were
They didn't
they?
tell those kids what to do at all. They just lived their lives.
And
Wow.
that was gonna be my next question. Was any of it scripted? At least for the real world.
The real
They
world,
just
definitely not. And at least certainly in the early days, who knows how things changed over the years. But
yeah.
I was on that show for 3 seasons. Road Rules, which was sort of real world in a Winnebago traveling for 4 or 5 more seasons. Never told those people what to do at all. Road Rules, they did have challenges to do. So I guess it wasn't scripted, but they had to do those things. But no, we just had to wait and see what happened and then pick out the best stuff and decide how to put it together, which is a really
Yeah.
great
Wow.
storytelling exercise. You can't just
That
write it out of your brain. You got to pick from what actually happened to create a story.
Yeah. And that's what Shaun says too. He's a storyteller.
and here
Yeah,
Cindy
and I mean, I
thinks
did keep tabs on him over the years, and I remember being like, "Wow, that's so cool! Shaun Cassidy is a TV producer. He always
Yeah.
produced dramas, and I was more of a comedy writer. Otherwise, I
yeah,
might have
Oh.
written him a letter at some point."
yeah. He
Yeah.
was all dramas. Yeah.
But
But
he's had a great career in TV behind the scenes, and I can totally appreciate that.
And we
y-
both found out too that while he did his first drama series, American Gothic, he was on tour with David doing Blood Brothers, and he couldn't come to Chicago where we were at because he had to go back and do American Gothic.
right,
Yep,
So we didn't get to
yep.
see Shaun with the Blood Brothers. We only got to see David.
right.
I've heard that story about how he would do the show, but then he would write scripts or write the
Mhm.
Bible for the show during the day and when he wasn't performing. So again, I mean, I really appreciate his work ethic because that's how I wrote my 2 books while I was executive producing The Real Housewives of Beverly
Wow.
Hills, and I was in an office. I wasn't running around following the ladies. I was helping,
Yeah.
put the material together after it was filmed. But I would eat a TV dinner at my desk at 6:30 and then go to a coffee house at 7 PM and write
Wow.
my kids' books.
Do your second job.
What is it about coffee houses? 'Cause I don't know if you know Johnny Ray Miller wrote, the what I call the Partridge Family Bible.
It's
It's
big.
Ooh,
this
okay.
big book. When we're singing, we
I think it's
actually
behind
have
us.
it.
Yeah.
You can't see it on our table.
Mhm.
He told me he loves to write in coffee houses. I'm like, "Don't you have a nice quiet place in your own house you can go and write?" But it seems like something about coffee houses and
It's more
writers.
inspiring to him, I guess.
Some
Yeah,
writers can't handle the noise and the distractions, but for me, being at home is more of a distraction. It's hard for me to
oh,
concentrate at home. I like, and it also it feels like you're going to an office. You're going to something away from home, so it feels like
yeah,
you're a more serious writer when you're not at home. For me, but everybody does something different.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
True.
I was just curious.
And I heard you were also interested in comedy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do, dabble occasionally in stand-up comedy. I did a little in
Oh, do
college,
you?
I did a little when I first moved to LA. I never seriously pursued it, I didn't wanna be traveling and that kinda thing,
Oh.
but, as the reason we met is because I wrote this comedic essay about Shaun
Yes. Which
Cassidy
we want
just
to read.
in January of,
Yeah.
this year,
This
2026.
year.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
we actually printed it out. We wanted to read it
Oh,
um because it was so hilarious.
We thought we would read it and then we can like interject our favorite parts. You want to do it now,
oh,
Cindy?
please,
Yeah.
please.
Oh my gosh. Yes. This is hilarious. So yes, go ahead and read it.
I
You'll read
was
the
afraid
first
I
half.
knew how
I'll read
big
the
I knew
second.
you guys were huge fans, so I thought, "Should I send it to them? Because it is, it's a little snarky."
Oh, we
Oh,
loved it.
we got it.
Oh, we
We
got
we
it.
got it. I was right there.
We got it.
Where
You
do
read the
I
first half.
start?
I'll read the second half.
All right. Dear Shaun, with about 13 exclamation points.
Yes.
Dear Shaun, I'm writing this to tell you that you are the dreamiest, foxiest, and cutest actor I have ever seen. The first time you sang on the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mystery Show, I couldn't believe you were so great. The Do Ron Ron is my favorite song and will be my favorite song forever. I promise.
I promise.
I hope we meet in person someday. So here are some fun facts about me. My name is Tony. I like movies and reading and learning new things. I have brown hair and brown eyes, and I'm 60 years old.
60 years old.
So this
60
thing
years old.
writes, it writes like a 15-year-old girl in
Yes.
her bedroom.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where people definitely crack up or write LOL when they read it online.
Then
That's
you
the first
get to
line where people really crack up.
And then
you
you're 60
get
years
to
old. You're
that
like,
and it goes,
oh,
and I'm 60 years
so you're
old.
not
Wait,
15.
what?
What?
Oh my
And
God.
then
Author's note, I wrote this letter a week ago. So, yeah. Um,
I guess you're just getting caught up those
anyway,
days.
I also like going to new places, and I can't wait to see you in Riverside, California. I will be there at the Fox Theater with three of my besties. They are named Katie, Robin, and Siobhan, and they are all between 50 and 60 years old. Now, we could have left that out. We will not be bringing significant others because they are boys. And we don't want anyone taking our attention away from you, not those icky boys.
Not the
They
icky
Right.
boys.
no.
Mm-mm.
My BFFs and I will be sharing 2 rooms at the Hampton Inn. But if you want to come over and hang with us after the show, hang with me, not us, me
Me.
after the show, we'll make it work.
Three's a crowd.
Right. Five's
you'll,
a crowd.
you'll probably stay at the Mission Inn, which is fancier, and I could definitely visit there. Unless you end up liking Katie, Robin, or Siobhan more than me.
Mm, not
I
going to happen.
I hope
Hope.
not,
Nah.
because I have been your biggest fan for the longest time, and I'm pretty sure that you had way more posters that I had. Way more posters of you on my wall than they ever did.
Oh, yeah. You got to beat them with the posters.
So that part had me on the floor. I said, who writes Shaun Cassidy a letter and then says, hey, come on up to my room?
Well, we always wish.
A desperate 60-year-old lady does.
Yeah.
I
Who's
was
left her
like,
husband behind in L.A. to go to
she's,
Riverside.
Yeah.
I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be one of those funny letters to Shaun. But you could come over and see me in my hotel room.
Yeah.
You can ditch
Maurice
that.
is like, I need to talk to this girl.
I was like, okay, I'm going to have to talk to her.
Yep. So the second part of the story is, I hope it's okay that I invited myself, excuse me, to your hotel. I mean, I know that you've got a wife, but it's your third marriage, so it can't be too serious, right?
How serious can that be?
I've only been married once and still am, but if Tim didn't want me getting together with you in Riverside, he probably shouldn't have shown a little. He should have shown a little bit more interested in watching the Hardy Boys show and listening to your albums on YouTube. And he definitely shouldn't have made me take my posters down when he moved in with me 10 years ago.
That's so freaking hilarious. Because what you're saying is, I had at 40 years old, 50 years old, my posters are still on the wall. If my husband
Now
had
I'm
a
exaggerating a little
I
bit,
know,
of course.
but of course, this is where it gets to the let's take some creative liberties.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I loved it because what you're saying for the story is, if my husband really had a problem with me asking you to come to my room, he might have wanted to mention it back when he saw those posters on the wall.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard right there.
Oh, yes. And then another author's note, like most girls of the 70s, I practiced smooching Shaun's kissable lips by leaning into the unfolded poster found inside his debut album. However, I feel like this would be something untoward to include in this letter. I don't want him to think I'm weird or anything.
I won't think that I was kissing him on the lips from his
Wait, am I the
album.
only one who's done that? That's not what
No.
I've heard.
No.
Well, I didn't want to kiss him because I didn't want to ruin the poster. I
Mhm.
thought maybe my lipstick or whatever would ruin
Your
my
Bonnie
poster.
Bell lip gloss.
So
might
maybe I
ruin
would
the
just blow him a
poster.
kiss. Yeah.
I actually would buy every album twice. So if something got
Oh.
messed up, the
Mhm.
album, the picture, anything, I had my backup. So I always kept one for the kissing.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yep.
Impressive.
Back up. All right. Then to continue on. Okay. I'm about to send this, but now I wonder if you'll ever actually see it. Do you really, truly, personally read your letters? I know you're busy with singing and traveling and tending to your numerous grown children. Well, maybe you can hire Parker Stevenson or Pamela Sue Martin to help with your correspondence.
Okay. No, that killed me.
See, I told you I got a little snarky.
Yeah. I mean, let's just get them up and moving. They need to do something.
Yeah. But, a quick Google search has confirmed that your Hardy Boys Nancy Drew co-stars are still alive. But I haven't seen them work a lot lately, so they could probably use the dough.
That's so freaking hilarious.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yep. And you know what would be absolute coolest? If you brought them on stage with you, especially in Riverside, California. That would be fun. Yep. And okay, I want to write more, but there's someone knocking at the door. My husband is talking to some people. It sounds like there's some concern about my stability. I don't know why. I took down the posters, except for the ones inside of my hall closet. And I only listened to Do and Run with my headphones on. Well, I better run, Shaun. I think I just heard some words, psych eval. But I'll see you soon. Your biggest fan now and forever. Ever.
There's
Toni A. Gallagher the
Toni,
first.
the first, but you can call me Toni.
But you can call me Toni.
Hilarious.
There's a little whisper about psyche Val outside.
Psyche Val.
I better go.
So we're
I
not
was
the
just
only crazy
imagining
ones.
sitting here at my computer and hearing them behind the door.
So I don't feel bad anymore because I'm not the only crazy. There's more crazies out there.
Here's the thing.
I love
You
it.
wrote every single thing all of us have been thinking in our head
Right.
for 35 years or 40
Right.
years or whatever. And you
Yes.
just put it in writing, and I know
You just sealed it.
if I were to write some of the stuff I was thinking, they would have had some people come over
Right.
to pick me up.
Well, my husband already thinks I'm crazy because I still have Shaun stuff. I have all my original posters, and I ordered a pillow with him on it. And he's like, "You're not putting that on the bed."
Yeah.
That's so funny. I think I had so much of that stuff, and I've been pretty good about saving things over the years, but I probably only have maybe a poster or two, or maybe some articles tucked away in a box somewhere.
What?
All
Tell
I
us
have
a
is that autograph framed.
Oh yes, that's the
that's
most prized
gold.
possession.
That is
Yeah.
golden.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the website that actually published this letter to Shaun
Oh yeah,
and
what is that?
and where
Yeah.
people can find it.
In late 2025, I took a humor writing class online because I've always written humorous stuff, but I didn't really know like what were the ways to get it out there. So I learned about these different online humor magazines, some of which are pretty, well respected. So this one was called Slackjaw, and it's on a platform called Medium. So if you go to medium.com/slackjaw, you can find that article that I wrote. Or I'm sure you could just Google it and it would come up, Slackjaw, Shaun Cassidy, or something like that. It will pop up. And I'm working on, trying to get more humorous essays out there. They're shorter. They're not, I wouldn't say they're easier, but they're a lot quicker than writing a whole book.
Yeah, they
Oh
are.
yeah.
And as you can tell, they're fun to do. The reaction I've gotten has been so
Cute
fun. I
short
met you
story.
guys because of it. Other people have been commenting that I don't even know. Boys, men and women have been commenting on it and
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I had more posters than you, I bet." Or boys who were like, "Oh, that's where all the girls were when I was in 8th grade." Or "I wanted Shaun Cassidy's hair when I was that age." So it's
Yeah.
been a really, really fun thing to have out there. And I do want to put more humor into the world.
Yeah, I think you tagged Shaun in it too, didn't you?
I think
You
so.
tagged
I have not
Shaun?
gotten any word that he has seen it, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see. He has seen articles before in the past.
Right. I think I did
Yeah.
post it one time on one of his Facebook pages, but then again, you don't know if he's answering or looking at the Facebook
Right.
page, or if Pamela Sue Martin and Parker Stevenson are the ones looking at
Well,
it.
exactly.
'Cause
They
they could be
gotta be
employed now.
doing something.
You know what? I do want to give a shout out to them though, because I saw somewhere, I don't remember where they're performing, but they're going to perform together in a
Yes.
play called
Love
Love
Letters.
Letters.
I think
Which I
it
wish
was earlier
it was
this
somewhere.
month.
Where was it?
Earlier this month.
You saw
Uh,
it on our Facebook page. We
Oh.
promoted it, and that happened
Mhm.
already like the
It wasn't
6th.
somewhere I could go, but I totally would have been there.
Yeah, I
Because I
think
tell
it
you,
was.
I loved Nancy Drew, and of course I love Frank Hardy
Yeah.
too, just not as much as Joe Hardy.
I would have been there.
Yeah, we did interview Parker before. He was such a
I
nice guy.
heard. And he
Such a nice
actually,
guy.
I mean, I was joking, but he really does have a lot going on. And he seems like a really intelligent guy, and his
Yes.
photography is
And
excellent.
his photography, he loves his photography. Yes, he
Isn't it
puts
great?
that
He and
first.
Shaun both went on to have very interesting careers,
Yeah.
with some acting in there, but not
Right.
relying totally on acting, which is so cool.
And they're still connected. He
He's
said he
Yeah.
considers him a brother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Parker is really quite shy, I think, or a little more reserved. But I tell you, I'm the one like you. I'm the outgoing one, and I try to quick wit everybody. I try my best to come up with that quick line to make the moment a little less like tense. And
Mhm.
at the 10 minutes within our interview, Parker was like a chatty Cathy. He
Yeah.
loosened up. He was telling us everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
No,
so I
if
really enjoy talking to him.
if people haven't heard that, I would definitely recommend going and listening to it.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
we had
Thank you for
fun
that
with him.
plug.
We had fun. It
But
was great.
everybody needs to go and find this letter to Shaun. If you
Yeah.
haven't read it yet, you
I read
I
it
wanna
a few times.
I think you can read it for free. It is one of those platforms where if you want to subscribe and read all the publications, all the humor, they
Oh.
have millions of publications on this Medium website. So I think it's $5 a month or $50 a year. I joined once they accepted my article. So I had
Right.
0 followers on this platform. The first
Oh.
guy who wrote me about the article said, "You are the only person I've ever seen on Medium with 0 followers, so I'll be your friend."
Well, see, I didn't
if you
realize
can
how it
follow me or
worked.
whatever, feel free. That would be great. But
But
Yeah.
yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize that was how it worked. I used the link you sent us, went
right,
straight to your letter and cracked
yeah,
up.
We should try
it's
to
easy to
write
find.
an honest letter like Tony's writing it from her perspective. We should try to write a funny one about Shaun too from our perspective. Like what we were thinking back then. Like if
Oh,
you could really write him what you really were thinking, what would you put in there?
I don't know if
We're gonna get married, all these kind of things. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
still waiting for you at the altar.
I'm
I do
still
remember
here.
later in life when I saw that he was a television producer, I thought, he should have picked me. We would have been like a
Yeah,
Hollywood power couple, you
you
know?
would have.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And you're both writers, so perfect
Yes.
combination.
And here I
Mhm.
am,
Well,
Delta
if he
Dawn.
ever wants to adapt a children's book into a series or a movie, he's
Hey,
got
he's got
some.
7 children.
They are
Well,
grown, but he wants to make, I've got 2 books here that are totally available for film and TV.
uh,
Maybe he and I could work closely on it, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Oh, right. My husband's not
yeah,
here.
yeah, you're good. You're good. Wink,
I'm good
wink.
for the moment.
Wink,
Yeah,
wink.
Tony, you wrote these books, and uh, I had to buy them the minute you told me you
Oh, I'll
wrote
hold up
them,
the
and
other
then
one.
I had
That's
to
the other
get
one.
Cindy to
Sweet.
buy them. So here we
I
are
think you've
with
got 2
these.
of the same one up there. There is a sequel.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
gotta
Okay.
bring
I
the
think I had the soft cover. This is the hardcover.
yeah. There
That's
you go.
yes. Those are the 2.
So
Mhm.
these books are written as 11-year-old girls, 11,
Yeah.
12-year-old girls will
Yeah,
talk
obviously
and
that
write.
is a voice that I feel very familiar with for some reason.
Yes.
So here I am reading it going, okay, I guess I'm still 12 because
Yep.
I'm loving every minute of it and I'm just dying.
Yes.
The first book is called Twist My Charm, The Popularity Spell.
Mhm.
And it's about this girl, Cleo, and her best friend, Samantha, and how they want A, Cleo just wants to stop being teased, and B, they want to be sisters.
But she's the new kid in town, though. Cleo's
She,
the new kid in town.
she's the
Right.
very, very
Only
newest.
has one friend.
Yeah.
And
Must
Moved
make a
from
big impression.
Ohio to Los Angeles, just like somebody else you know.
See?
wow, it made sense when you said that. I'm like, that's how it
Stories
happened.
come from a
From a real
Um,
place.
real place, yeah.
And she goes to this snooty Beverly Hills school where they call all the teachers and administrators by their first name. I'm like, what the crap is that about? My
That seemed
teacher,
very hippy
Kevin.
dippy Los Angeles, right?
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, your teacher, Kevin. Okay. I'm
Right.
on board with that.
I,
So
I
we,
just read a part of it to some elementary school kids last week, and I got to
oh,
the part where she goes to gym class, but they call it recreational
oh.
wellness at her school.
Or my favorite was focus, exclamation point.
Exclamation point, because she's a very unfocused kid.
The
Yeah.
name of the class is Focus! Exclamation
Very
point. I
creative and
was
curious.
very. So you got Cleo Sam, and then you got this snooty girl, Maddie Patty, and this guy, poor Scabby Larry. Nobody wanted to be friends with Scabby Larry. And then Madison Paddington, I think her name is. She
Hmm.
had her posse.
Yep.
So the whole story is because Cleo is tired of being called a clown. You know, what kind of name is Cleo? That's a clown's name. And you're
Hmm.
from Ohio and you look like a pig. There's nothing but pigs. And this is just tired of the whole thing.
But isn't Cleo short for Cleopatra?
I never thought about it, but I don't think I would have named her Cleopatra.
Because, Cleopatra had magic and charm, so I'm thinking it matches.
There you go.
Never thought about that.
Yep.
So her uncle, her eccentric, crazy uncle, her father's dad, sends her a voodoo doll for her birthday. Months later, but she gets it.
Yep.
And it's not like any voodoo doll that I ever heard of. It actually does good things.
Right.
Reversal there.
So where did you come up with that as the concept of your whole thing?
Well, I got to be super honest. When I originally wrote the book, it was just a regular voodoo doll that was intended to do bad things to people, and which made sense. I mean, it was all in a very light, comical way. She wasn't going to seriously harm anybody with this
Right.
voodoo doll. But my agent, it was even before before we sent it to publishers. She goes, now that I think about it, I don't think publishers would want a book about a girl with a bad voodoo doll wanting to do harm to people, even though my agent took on the book already. And I said, but that's the whole premise. And I guess somewhere late in the book, I make a comment about a happy, positive voodoo doll. So together, my agent and I said, that's the solution. She gets a happy, positive voodoo doll that's meant to do good things for people. But the twist is when you do good things for yourself, sometimes bad things happen to other people. So
That's
the charms that they do go wrong in a comical way.
in a
Nothing too heavy or serious.
And that's exactly what happened. The first hex was something I think Sam wanted something good to happen, and she got her good pizza.
They got surprise
And,
pizza at school on it wasn't pizza day, so they think
uh,
it worked.
they were
It
like,
could have been
"Oh
a
my god,
coincidence, but they think it worked.
Right. Yeah.
it
Right.
worked."
Never mind.
Then the second, now here's my thing about Samantha. I early on, I'm starting to think Sam is Cleo's best friend. And she
Mhm.
does stick up for Cleo to Maddie Patty, who is the bully. But I'm thinking Sam has ulterior motives, so she's a little self-centered, she's a little pushy. But Cleo
Mhm.
makes excuses for her, like, well, she's gonna be my sister one day, so maybe that's how sisters are. And
Right.
I'm
Isn't that
and
how
I
kids are though, right? They go
yeah.
along with things until they realize that it's wrong. Their relationship, their friendship has an arc. And in the second book, it comes around too.
Yes.
I
So
love hearing you talk about it so enthusiastically. Middle grade books are written for 8 to 12-year-olds, but I
Yeah.
always say they are fun for all ages. All my
I
friends who
Oh,
read
yeah.
this when I was working on it enjoyed it. It's a fun
That was
read.
one of the more favorite ages, I think. My favorite
Mhm.
ages was that
well,
period of like that.
I must just
Yep.
still be 12. I'm telling you, because I was reading it and I'm reading it in Cleo's voice like, well, I want to be that, whatever that means. But I hope one day that I could be that.
Yeah.
And I'm dying inside. And I'm like, oh, Maddie Patty, I know what your problem is. Your daddy don't hug you enough. And then
Right,
we get
right.
to the part and there's Cleo kind of accidentally seeing her dad being mean to her. When I knew it, she was not getting any attention at home, this little brat. And, like you said, good things happen to someone, but something bad might happen to someone else in the process.
Yeah.
But it
So,
all, spoiler alert, it all turns out okay in the end.
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
But my favorite part was about Ryder Landry.
Okay,
I
Oh,
wonder
that's
who
me
that's after.
too.
so now
That's where we
I
circle
gave
back
a
to
little
Shaun.
I gave a little bit about
Yep.
book one. Book two had to come along because the whole idea of book one was to break up Cleo's dad from Tony and get her,
Terry,
I'm sorry,
Terry.
but
Terry,
but
I'm
clearly
sorry,
intentionally named sort of for me.
yeah, and
Off
get
the
her
cuff.
with
Yeah.
Sam's mom, Paige, the
Yeah.
beautiful, well-kept, beautiful
She's the cautious one.
Hollywood Paige.
Yep.
Mhm.
So they do their hex, they call them hexes, and now we got to go on to book two because, well,
Yeah.
something goes awry.
Uh-oh. I wonder what happens in that one.
Well, you said you have a favorite part of book two.
Well, I just like the Ryder Landry part because she loved him and had posters on her wall and
Right.
all
Sounds
that
familiar, huh?
all that fan stuff. Yeah, that must have come from a certain place too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the first book, my agent loved it and took it around to publishers, and at the very end of the book, she gets a love potion. And
Right.
I mean, the book is satisfying on its own. It didn't have to have a sequel, but luckily my agent sold a sequel to Random House as well.
Oh.
But this was a sequel that I hadn't written yet, and I hadn't even thought about what the plot would be aside from Cleo gets a love potion. So I had to create that whole story fresh without any ideas because Random House was expecting a second book. So I thought, well, what else do I remember from the time I was Cleo's age, 11, 12 years old? Shaun Cassidy.
Ta-da!
I thought all girls that age, or most girls that age, get a crush, right? Whether,
Right.
I mean, I think, more, 10 years ago, it was Justin Bieber, and it's always somebody,
Yeah.
right?
It's always
Every
someone.
era, there's new
Right. There
boy
is.
crushes. So I
Yeah.
created Ryder Landry to be
Yeah.
Cleo and her friend's crush.
Where'd you get that name from? How'd you come up with that?
Ryder just seemed like a very modern, but, LA fancy name.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but I also like that Landry, they call the fans are called Lander. Like, you've landed if you're a Ryder Landry fan.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I gotta be honest, I didn't get through all of, Love Potion number 11, but
Well, you are a busy woman,
I
Doris, so I understand.
I got through enough of it to figure out just what exactly is going on and how Ryder Landry fits into the story. With Maddie and Cleo. Cleo and Sam kind of stopped being friends because, as we know, something good happened to
Issues.
Cleo and Maddie, but which means something has to happen kind of bad. That's all I'm going to say. And they move on, and then the second book, Cleo is just determined to make everything good, and she
Right
gets her
again.
love potion, right?
Yeah.
But I think she
And
realizes that friendships are more important than magic stuff or creative
Yeah.
stuff or
I
she
think
realizes.
Cleo
Sure.
realized that a little bit sooner than Samantha did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm thinking Cleo was more in tune with the heartfelt because she just wanted to stop anyway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sam wanted this thing to be the next thing that goes on forever. No, we got to think of the next one.
Yeah.
What's the
Yep.
next one?
Yep. Yep. But they work
But
together.
they get to a concert.
Hmm.
They're at a fair, or like a fair or some sort of amusement park thing that,
Amusement park, yeah.
yeah, that Ryder is playing there that night, and they all get to that concert. That's what get them all together, and
Hmm.
they do a little mosh pit in the front. They do. They
Can
all
you
of them
imagine a
are
mosh pit with Shaun
11-year-olds.
when he has concert? I
uh,
went to the ones in Chicago and it was crazy loud. I could just imagine a mosh pit going on. Oh
they're
God,
out there
A mosh pit of
dancing.
11-year-old girls.
11-year-old girls,
crazy.
Maddie and her posse, and everybody
Hmm.
singing and dancing and everything.
Yep.
And I think Cleo didn't believe that Maddie really was her friend until finally that big moment where Maddie invites her back to the house and everybody is going back together. And Ryder, we could thank him for everybody. It brought them
Well, it
all
brings people together.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it brings
Yep.
the people together today.
and that's true.
Back in
Mhm.
our day, we didn't have this connection with the fans. Now we know more fans than we ever did than
Of
back in the
course. You only
70s.
knew your circle in your neighborhood,
In the
right?
neighborhood,
Your
right.
school.
That was it. And I didn't know people further than that.
That's all I
But
knew.
now a second time around, when he's doing this tour, that's how we connected and, I'm
So
sure
social
quite other
media
people.
connected us all, and we
Mhm.
decided let's try to bring it and make a community, and that's how the podcast got started.
Yeah.
I
Because
love it.
Shaun, like writer, was bringing
Brings people
every
together.
Yeah.
yeah,
Brings people who are young at heart together.
Yes. And he loves that too. He
yes,
loves that connection. He calls it what? The shared community?
yes.
Shared connection, shared community. He loves
Yeah.
that we're all sharing in it.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and I love that he loves it. So one
Yeah.
day he might say,
Great.
"Yeah," and join us one day, or we'll
Yeah.
just keep him afar and keep just spread his good word and name.
That's right. That's right. In the
Well,
meantime, we'll
tell him
just
about my
worship.
article if you have a chance to meet him, and I'll be telling him. I'm sure he
Oh,
knows about your podcast already, but
yes. Yes.
Yes,
I do
Wink.
only live about 2 hours away from Santa Barbara, which I believe is
Oh,
where he is, and
well,
he does have that wine,
yes.
thing.
I was going to
So
mention
I
that.
don't
so
know, I might have to join that wine club.
so
Yes.
Sean, we're giving you a shameless plug here. My
Uh,
First Crush wines are
yeah.
actually very good.
Oh,
I
okay.
am a wine club member, And being a member, you get invited to these events. You get to go on Zoom calls. One's coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to go to events. So Dame and I went to Dame has been to 3 or 4 events, but
Oh
Dame
gosh.
and I went to Santa Barbara 2 Christmases ago for his
Mhm.
My First Crush Christmas party. It is just like 40 or 50 of his closest friends being at his house. It was
That's
at the
neat.
winery. He treats you like you're a guest at his house. The whole thing is just put on so well done, such a beautiful event that
Very intimate event. Yeah.
event.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend anyone joining the My First Crush wine club if you can.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And there was a Christmas party too.
Yep.
That's the one I'm talking about. We
Oh,
went to
okay.
we
Then there
went
was a
to the
Valentine's
Christmas.
party. There
Yeah,
was a few
Dane went to
parties.
the Valentine's and she
Mm-hmm.
went to some wine walk thing or
Mm-hmm.
outdoors thing.
It's throughout the year.
It's throughout the
Yeah.
year.
Different seasonal
Well, like I
events.
said, I only live 2 hours away. I was like, "Oh, am I gonna come across too nutty if I join that and show up?"
No!
No, you'll be with the other nuts.
And I wish we would have connected back then because
Yes.
definitely we would have hit it off
Well, maybe we
today.
will be at the same one of these
It's
days.
still ongoing, so yes,
Yep.
Yeah, he
possibility.
keeps having them.
Possibility.
I may
Yeah,
join this afternoon.
I was a little hesitant about going back because
Mm,
going into Santa Barbara is not as easy as like flying into LA. You could get a nonstop flight.
right.
This thing, I'm like, oh my God. The coming home was what was hard because it's such a
Sure.
small airport that 2 flights leave and mine got canceled. So I had to wait
Ugh,
for this whole day for another plane to come and I could go
yeah.
home. It
Yeah, too
became
much to remote airport.
yeah, it
Yeah.
became such a thing. I said,
Yeah.
"I'm not flying back
You're
there,"
not doing
but
that again.
Because I haven't gone yet, but yeah, Dame's still coaxing me to go. So I may show
And
up at one.
and if you're coming
Who
from
knows?
Chicago, you probably don't wanna go to a winter one because you never know what's gonna be happening with Chicago.
No.
right.
Right. Exactly.
We got lucky that the one I went to, there was Chicago was having a winter drought. There was no snow. Weather was kind of warm. So, and that was what I kept saying. They kept saying the flights were delayed. I'm like, across the country, it's above average temperatures and no precipitation. What exactly is delaying the flight? And then
Chicago wasn't giving you the problem, Santa Barbara was giving you the problem, and
I
Santa Barbara
figured
has perfect weather.
Yeah, right?
I figured
Mm,
out, some flight attendant or some crew didn't show up. It was a
Right,
crew thing.
right.
So I'm like,
And with
"Oh,
no crew, no plane.
no crew, no plane." So there
But
it
Santa
was.
Barbara is a beautiful area. I'm sure Shaun is living very nicely there.
Yes, I'm sure. I would
We
love to go visit.
we got, lucky enough to get a tour because, when I was working, I was the, head of charitable foundation, which donated money to the church where Shaun and Tracy go for their annual Christmas pantry, buy gifts and all that, and food and
Yep.
all that. So I reached out to the lady at the church and told her I was actually coming, and she gave Dame and I a full day tour of the whole area and
Oh,
spent like
wonderful.
4 or 5 hours
Santa
with
Barbara
us.
area, yeah.
It was
Yeah. Yeah,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. Beautiful wine country.
Not to mention the beach.
Oh, yeah, we went to the beach. It was Dame had to see the ocean, and we got to the ocean, so
Yeah.
it was really fun.
But yeah, these
But
events
Okay.
are every year, I think they're doing that.
yeah, being a wine club member, I just got an email about upcoming events, and
Mhm.
it's no dates and anything. It just said these events will be coming, so watch your
Okay.
email.
Mhm.
And, never mind the events. That wine is really good.
And
That's nice to know.
what a great
I
name, right? I mean,
Adorable. Adorable.
I drank
adorable. Yep.
would say I drank a glass last night, but bottles are glass. I ju
Yep.
Bottles
I
are glass, yeah.
Mhm.
that's what I'm sticking to.
My
Yes,
mom
I've
would say, "I'm
tasted it.
only having 1 glass," but she had this huge glass that
Huge
an
glass.
entire bottle of wine could fit in.
Yeah, well, you're
Well,
not lying.
I asked Steve Clifton, who was the winemaker.
Mhm.
They had a Zoom call with him, like this meet and greet with him on Zoom, and it was a bunch of us wine members. And I said, Steve, what is the best way to preserve wine once you open a bottle? He said, finish the wine in
Drink
the
it.
bottle.
Yeah, drink it
That's a
up.
I
good
just
winemaker. He
I
knows his
got it
stuff.
right from the top,
Drink
so
it.
Yep.
I can't leave any wine in the bottle.
Yep.
That's right. Well, you're following protocol.
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm
Well,
kind of feeling like we might cross paths again one day, you
Yes,
guys.
I'm
definitely. There
thinking we
are events
might.
down the
What's
line.
our note?
Yep, events down the line.
Events right coming up, and
Yes.
uh-oh. I had a little outline of what we were going to talk about, and I can't find it.
Well, I think that went out the window a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
I think we covered most. You,
I
you did want to ask me about Housewives, which I did. I did mention. I'm not doing it now, but I did. I did produce, or I was one of the many producers on seasons 1 through 7 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That show is still going. They're on season 17 or 18, but I was on that show from seasons 1 through 7, and then I finished reality TV in 2023.
So then, yeah, that was my question. Like, do they do their thing? You make a story around it, or you make a story and they kind of follow it?
They, you know what? I'm actually reading Lisa Rinna, who was one of the housewives for
Oh,
a
yeah.
while,
Yeah.
soap
I
opera
like her.
actress and all. I'm reading her book right now. I always liked her, and I knew her a little bit. And she admits, like, they follow what we do, and
Okay.
she says we, the producers, didn't. We would say, you have to go on a vacation together. Because let's think about it.
Yeah.
If you're a housewife, if you're friends with somebody and you don't like them anymore, you're not going to go on vacation together,
Right.
right? You're not going to
Right.
go to lunch with them. But then we
Right.
wouldn't have a show. So we do have to make them do those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
once they're doing it, we don't say, have a fight,
Oh, okay. It's just what
we
it
might
is.
say, hey, you guys have had this beef, can you go to lunch and talk about it? But there's nobody
Mhm.
saying you have to say this, you have to do this. The women themselves, I think, realize when things aren't exciting enough, and they decide,
Oh,
Hey, so
they
you
I
go.
think they go, I'm pissed about this. And in real life, I would hide it. But I'm on TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
it.
So you give them a scenario. You put them on a beach or like a vacation. They go somewhere, and then things come out.
And we would also build scenes around what they were really doing. Like, somebody got a charity event. Okay, we're going to come and film that charity event. And of course, you have to invite all the other housewives to that
Yeah.
charity
Right.
event. So we would follow, or somebody's, I'm going to go on this vacation or whatever. Well, can everybody come along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did follow, every year at the beginning of the seasons, we'd say, what do you have coming up, and sort of build filming around it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not like the real
Okay.
world where we're there with them 24 hours a day, because these are grown women with children and families. We
Yes.
can't be there 24 hours a day, but we would make a schedule for filming around what we knew was going to happen. And then hope for
Okay.
the best, hope that juicy stuff happens.
Well, the way you make it sound is they were savvy enough to know this is TV. Let's juice it up a little, so they would bring out their most juicy stuff when they felt like it was getting a little dull.
Yeah, the best
They knew.
reality TV people are the ones who do not filter themselves. They shouldn't make
Yeah.
it up. If you're not mad at
Right.
somebody, you shouldn't pretend to be mad at somebody. But
Right.
if you're feeling it, you don't hide it. If there's a housewife who hides her feelings, she's usually gone within a season or two. Because she's boring.
Oh, yes. Nothing to say.
Right,
Right.
right. Not
No,
bringing
no
anything
beefs
to the party.
talk about. Yeah.
That's
Right.
why I used to. It was painful to watch, but I used to watch Danny Bonaducci's reality show
And
because he
he's just a
can't make
character,
that crap
right?
up. Right.
He was just being himself.
People just don't know what you see is Danny, and he can't make that crap up. And it was it was
When
a
people
little
ask me, is
painful.
reality TV real? I say, do you think when they started filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they knew that Bruce Jenner was going to become a woman?
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
He was
No.
hiding that.
They did not script that.
Right.
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 That
That was a
happened in
big
their
secret.
lives while they were filming.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Interesting how they do
Yeah.
that.
Very interesting.
Wouldn't that be funny if there was a real, not Real Housewife, but real Shaun fans reality show?
Oh.
What
Well,
would come up with that?
you gotta get the ones that are more bouncy and like us.
Yeah.
We're
there,
too
'cause
nice though. Like I don't
Yeah.
think we're a fun podcast,
But there's been some
I don't know
scuffles
that we wouldn't be
sometimes.
tearing each other's hair out,
There's
right?
been some scuffles sometimes about things, I must
If
say.
they say go a little Jerry Springer, I might be inclined
Sometimes
to
there
go
is.
a little Jerry Springer
Well,
and
you know, if
bring.
my friends Robin or Katie or Siobhan, if Shaun had liked them more than he liked me, there would have been some trouble.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
But
yeah,
and
I
some people
mean,
have asked. I did not meet him in Riverside, but I did go to the show back in January,
Okay.
and
oh,
it
you
That's
was
good.
didn't do the
wonderful.
Q&A meet and greet?
I didn't. I'm too cheap.
Oh, oh, I
Maybe I
would
was
have.
hoping he would find me through my article instead of paying the extra money. But maybe I'll join the
Oh.
wine club and meet him that way.
There you
Yes.
go. Join the
Yes.
wine club and keep saying, take it from me, keep saying and doing you.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he will
Exactly.
know exactly who you are in no
Exactly.
time at all.
Sweet.
Tony,
I
this has
was,
been so much fun today.
This
This has
is
been
great.
fun.
Great. I had a feeling after listening to your podcast that we would be chatting away like old pals, and
Oh,
I feel like we are.
yes. Yeah, definitely. I think that's one thing with Shaun fans too. I think there's a lot of connection there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have that. We have us. Well, the one thing we can't say is we have nothing in common because we have the
Right.
one common denominator.
Right.
And
And
then we
more than
have,
one, even.
yeah, and everything else. And you're just a hoot. I was so happy to connect you with our friend from the Pop Culture Preservation Society, Kristen,
Yep.
because she is a writer of children's books.
Yep.
She's Shilly a hoot. And, just I'm like, I got to get these two together some
Yeah, I
kind
would
of
love to
way.
cross
Yeah.
paths with them someday too.
Oh, yeah. They're
Oh,
great.
yeah. They travel sometimes. I mean, they used to all live in Minnesota. Now they all live around the globe.
Hmm.
But yeah, just follow them, and
Yeah.
you
I
never
am,
know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
am, thanks to your recommendation. So thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me
They're
to be
fun.
on this. It was so great.
Oh, we loved it. We should do it again.
Let me
Yeah.
know. I can
If you
always
Yes,
come
yak
definitely.
away.
if you come out of retirement and start producing anything, just give us a shout out.
Maybe
Yep.
when Shaun and I are producing our Twist My Charm show.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a great time to do it.
You just said it out loud.
I'm
So
going to
you
get my
just
happy positive voodoo doll and I'm going to wish for that.
oh, I made
Yes.
a
Put
quick
that to
note. That's
use.
what we'll end it on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You will have your Juju Mojo Gris Gris Do Poodoo.
Voodoo.
That's right from the book. It's gonna
Yeah.
bring good juju, mojo, grits, grits, and poodoo. So you just said it out loud. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Well, thank you, ladies. Hope to
Thank
cross
you,
paths
Tony.
again.
Have a
Yes. We will
great
talk again.
rest of your day. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
I'll
Bye.